And senior reporter Michael Appel joins us now. Of course, you've been in the forefront of this case from day one. And what do you take out of the 1:30 or minute 30-second snippet that we've seen of the interview so far?
Well, yes, the Guardian managed to get their hands on this minute and a half snippet of what's probably going to be, about an hour-long documentary. So just a little snippet of what the world can look forward to, and a lot of focus on Pistorius' disability. Mark Williams-Thomas asking Pistorius to stand on his stumps and show us how he manages to walk on his stumps. Mark Williams-Thomas, a former detective turned investigative journalist, so his angle is always from the police's side, how he would have looked at it from a detective side, and a focus on the state's case and just how the South African Police Service handled that crime scene, not doing themselves too many favors there.
It almost seems like a reconstruction again of the evidence in what I've seen of the 1:30-second snippet, as you referred to it, where Oscar says that Rieva would not want to see him waste his life in jail, almost representing her from the grave.
Yes, it's quite a startling statement to make. I think it's going to be very controversially received. This has been a very polarizing and divisive trial from the beginning. You're going to have your hardliners, anti and pro-Pistorius, and a statement like that, some are going to say he's speaking from the grave, very controversially. Others are going to say, but this is what he thinks, obviously. No matter what he says, he's going to be pegged. Either way, he's going to be in trouble. Some people are not going to accept what he's saying. So is it his bid for redemption? It would definitely appear that way.
Now, this much anticipated Oscar interview is expected to draw at least 90 million viewers around the world with your face in it. How did you get involved in this docu?
Yes, what a fantastic opportunity that Mark Williams-Thomas and ITV gave me to be a part of this documentary. I'm the journalist that is interviewed as part of this documentary. It's an hour-long documentary. I was interviewed in March. Oscar, not knowing at the time that Oscar was part of the documentary, I had to sign all sorts of documentation at the time, and just keeping it under wraps. He was then interviewed in May, in sort of mid-May. And my interview, I had no idea that Oscar Pistorius was actually part of the interview when I did it.
And were you expected to give your own interpretation of the events in court, or was it essentially just about the facts as they were unfolding?
Well, certainly about 90% of the interview revolved primarily around the state's case, the police's handling of the crime scene and the evidence. Just for an example, under police lockdown, that crime scene, watches were stolen from the house. Evidence in court was given that the murder weapon, the gun, was picked up without gloves. So if Oscar Pistorius had said, "I didn't fire the shots," this would be a very different story. So the police making all sorts of admissions that they could have handled this a lot better, and that's really the angle that I was asked to speak about. I'm a reporter. I'm simply there to report. I was there every single day for 49 of the court days, and at the Supreme Court of Appeal, and have been back in the North Gauteng High Court ever since. So I was purely from a reporter's point of view, South African, a local that grew up, saw Oscar Pistorius in high school and at university, and some of my thoughts on that.
Would that be probably the reason why you're the only journalist around the world who was invited to this particular documentary?
Well, it's an incredible opportunity. Eternally grateful to them for that opportunity. Why I was chosen? Well, it's just, I won't say luck of the draw, but right place, right time, and I had the right skill set to be able to do this, and hopefully I'll be able to contribute meaningfully to this documentary.
Yeah, and how has this changed your life in covering the Oscar Pistorius trial?
Well, it certainly boosted many journalist profiles, mine included, and of course it's an ironic tragedy that this had to happen for certain journalists to make their names in the industry. So one never forgets how this came about, and it remains an absolute tragedy of, as the Supreme Court of Appeal said, Shakespearean proportions, a tragedy of Shakespearean proportions, and that Rieva Steenkamp had to die in all of this to boost certain journalist profiles is certainly, it's the flip side of the coin. It's very unfortunate.
All right, Michael, thanks so much for speaking to us. Of course, tomorrow will be the big reveal of this much anticipated Oscar Pistorius interview, as we're speaking to senior reporter Michael Appel, who's covered the story since day one.